Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 19th, 2023. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good on this Tuesday. Let's see, there isn't really much to report on the personal news. We're just kind of working. I've queued up for a little bit of off time in the future for the holidays, a little bit of extra Christmas time, a little bit of extra New Year's time, because why not? But, other than that, that's in the future. That's for future me. But, we're just chilling right now. We're working right now. Well, if you want to call podcasting work, what I'm doing right now work, sure, fine, why not? But no, just chilling, and working and chilling. There's no food corner to really report, so there's that. I mean, I had a Mexican beef and rice bowl. It's kind of a classic in the Isaiah Casa. That's right. We're doing Spanglish over here. So yeah, I mean, I won't really, bore you with all the casual slice of life bullshit. Let me go ahead and do my startup, and then we'll get into some news. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All right. From The Guardian. RSF paramilitary seizes control of Wad Madani, Sudan's second city. Sudan's Rapid Support Forces, or the RSF, have seized Wad Madani, the country's second city, which has taken in hundreds of thousands of refugees from the capital, Khartoum, early in the eighth-month war between the regular army and the paramilitary RSF. Videos posted by the RSF on Monday showed fighters in pickup trucks driving along the streets in the city of El Jazeera state. The RSF advanced after 3 days of intense fighting, which caused thousands of people to flee the city towards the south. Markets and homes were flooded or were looted by the army, the police, and some civilians on Sunday. And there were fresh reports of looting by RSF fighters by Monday. Excuse me. During the paramilitary advance on the city, army intelligence units were reported to have arrested civilians based on their ethnicity, particularly those from Darfur, many of whom have been living in El Jazeera for decades as agricultural workers. Also, aid organizations, many of which had relocated to the city from Khartoum, were reported to have suspended their work after the RSF advance. They go into a little bit of history in this article about Wad Madani, which was founded 98 years ago when the country was under British and Egyptian rule, and it is home to the Army's 1st Infantry Division. Let's see, more than 10,000 people have been killed since the war between the two rival forces since April. 6 million people have been forced to flee their homes, causing the world's biggest internal displacement crisis. They talk about the split between General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, who is the head of the army, and also General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, who is the head of the RSF. Now, they had shared power with a civilian government after a coup in 2019 of President Omar al-Bashir, which I learned today, listening to the BBC, that Omar al-Bashir had made the RSF, or formed the RSF, of people who he felt like were going to be like malleable, compliant to him, and work for him, and essentially that was like his pocket army. So therefore, like, he couldn't get couped. Essentially, that was his coup proof. But it didn't work out because they lined up together and said, okay, well, we'll just take power, we'll share power. But then when they went in to say, hey, okay, we're going to dissolve the RSF now, you don't need to be this little pocket army, we can just be one big thing. And the Gallo was like, no, I don't think so. I'm gonna keep my shit. And they've been fighting, ever since April. So, this isn't something I wanted to lose sight of. I felt like this was a big development. I know we do miss a lot of coverage, from the day to day, but that's in a lot of places. I know that, like, it can kind of seem like, hey, we talk about Ukraine, we talk about Israel, but I know there's a lot of places, where we're talking about the Republic of Congo, or we're talking about, Sudan, what have you. There's so many places. So I do try to cover them when they pop up during the week. So, there was that. Let me go ahead and move on to the next bit. We're going to talk about some natural disasters. From the Associated Press, an earthquake in northwestern China kills at least 127 people and is the deadliest in 9 years. A strong overnight earthquake rattled a mountainous region of, northwestern China, authorities said on Tuesday, destroying homes, leaving residents out in below freezing winter night, and killing 127 people in the nation's deadliest quake in 9 years. The magnitude 6.2 earthquake struck just before midnight on Monday, injuring more than 700 people, damaging roads, and knocking out power and communication lines in Gansu and the Qinghai provinces, officials and Chinese media reports. Let's see here. State broadcaster CCTV said 113 were confirmed dead in Gansu, and another 536 were injured in the province. 14 others were killed, and 198 injured in Qinghai, in an area north of the epicenter, according to the People's Daily, the Communist Party's official mouthpiece. There's more details in this article. I don't want to get too scientific. There's a lot of numbers and cities and stuff like that. Kind of akin to the next one we're going to get to. We're kind of just breezing through these. But from CNN, volcano erupts on Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula weeks after town evacuated. A volcano has dramatically erupted in Iceland, expelling spectacular bursts of lava onto the landscape and emitting huge plumes of smoke into the sky after weeks of seismic activity prompted the evacuation of a nearby town. The eruption of Reykjanes Peninsula began around 10 p.m. local time, 5 p.m. ET, following an earthquake around an hour earlier. The Icelandic Meteorological Office said in a statement. The office reported that the eruption was located close to Hagafell, around about 3 kilometers or 2 miles north of the town of Grindavik. I want to say Grindavik. I really want to say Grindavik, my American ass. Iceland's Coast Guard posted a video on Facebook showing one of its helicopters at the scene on Monday night, hovering over a long line of glowing lava spurting from the fissure in the ground. The air is shrouded by smoke and lit in glowing hues of orange and red. It really looks like a movie scene, or like you're in a video game world that is like literally you're in a volcano. It was giving Fire Temple. It is a very intense sight to behold. I do have a pic of it in the thumbnail, but I definitely know that's not doing justice. But it's definitely one of those pictures where you see it and it's like, oh, this is like seeing heat. Like I can feel the heat from the photo. A bit more detail I wanted to add. This is the 4th eruption in the area since 2021 and the largest so far, said the Icelandic government in a statement on Tuesday. It added that the eruption does not pose a threat to life, but said that the area was closed to all traffic and strongly warned people not to approach the area. So that's good that there hasn't been any kind of loss of life. I believe they evacuated all the people. I think it was 3,000 people that got the town of more than 3,000 people is now clear of residents. Let's see. It is a popular place for tourists because it lies some 7 kilometers from the famous Blue Lagoon geothermal spa. So there you go. Some flights got canceled, but I know that there was still like air traffic to and from. So like I said, good that there's no loss of life, and more or less this is just a big spectacle and not like, some Pompeii ass shit. You know what I mean? So that's good. We love to see it. We love to talk about some cool natural happenings like this. But yeah, let's go ahead and move along because there's more details. But once again, I'll leave that for the readers. For the real ones, we have one more thing to cover, and then I will let you go. We'll go on about our business, going on our merry way. But you know what that means. I'm gonna take my break, and then we'll close it out. Oh yeah. Okie dokie. From the Texas Tribune. Immigrant rights groups sue Texas to halt new law allowing arrests of migrants. Immigrant rights organizations have sued Texas after Governor Greg Abbott approved one of the strictest state immigration enforcement laws, which authorizes police to arrest immigrants suspected of crossing the border illegally. In their lawsuit, the American Civil Liberties Union and the Texas Civil Rights Project claim that Senate Bill 4, which Abbott signed on Monday and is scheduled to take effect March 4th, violates the U.S. Constitution because Congress has given the federal government sole authority over immigration enforcement. The lawsuit filed Tuesday in Austin federal court says SB 4 will prevent immigrants from requesting asylum in the U.S., a right they have regardless of how they enter the country, which is obviously a known thing by Abbott. There's a lot of just problems with this bill, but he's forced it through. He's pushed it. Some might say because he wants to just kind of get eyes on it. He wants to get the attention, show his constituents that he's quote unquote doing something. He's doing what Biden won't do. But yeah, I mean, this is some cruel ass fucking shit. The idea that it's hey, you're supposed to have this inalienable right. Hey, you're allowed to file for asylum. They're no. We're just going to skip that. And we are going to force you to go back to the border and, serve out a sentence in Mexico, or, I guess hold on, I should just get to the reading. But let me read a little bit further. They named Steve McCraw, director of Texas Department of Public Safety, and Bill Hicks, El Paso's district attorney, as defendants. Governor Abbott's efforts to circumvent the federal immigration system and deny people the right to due process is not only unconstitutional, but dangerously prone to error, and will disproportionately harm black and brown people regardless of their immigration status, said Anand Balakrishnan, senior staff attorney at the ACLU's Immigrants' Rights Projects. We're using every tool at our disposal, including litigation, to stop this egregious law from going into effect. Now, let me see here. This is from Spiller, Representative David Spiller of Jacksonboro. SB 4 is the Texas solution to a Texas problem. It is humane, logical, and efficient approach to a problem created and fostered by the Biden administration, continued failure and refusal to secure our border. So that's their defense to that. Let's see. Abbott adds some more. I'm going to skip across that. Obrador is naturally opposed to this. I'm missing the part, though. Let's see. The new law would make it a state crime to cross the state Texas-Mexico border between ports of entry. Police who suspect that a person crossed the border illegally can arrest them and charge them with a Class B misdemeanor, which carries a punishment of 6 months up to 6 months in jail. Repeat offenders could face a second-degree felony with a punishment of 2 to 20 years in prison. So there you go. So essentially, yeah, if you don't go and serve your time in Mexico, we will make you serve it in our jails in Texas. That's essentially the situation at hand for someone who is in violation of this law that Abbott is trying to put into place. But yeah, a part I wanted to mention here is This did remind me of the Arizona Papers thing, which I'm not gonna lie, it's something I can reference before and things like that, because it was such a crazy jarring thing that was just like, hey, if you don't have your papers, cops or state troopers or whatever the fuck, I believe like police can hassle you and arrest you for not having them. And that was just some fucking Nazi era style shit that just did not sit right, I feel. But in 2010, Arizona lawmakers passed Senate Bill 1070, which made it a state crime for legal immigrants not to carry their immigration papers and require police to investigate the immigration status of any person they come in contact with. In a landmark 2012 case, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that local police didn't have the authority to arrest someone solely based on their immigration status, and said that the responsibility falls to the federal government. Now, that is what I hope happens if and when this gets pushed all the way up to, I don't know, the Supreme Court again. But I mean, we're talking now about a supercharged Supreme Court, and maybe by that time, that's when they want to make their highlight showcase thing, and they say, no, we're gonna take this case and we're gonna actually give it to Wheels, Greg Abbott. But yeah, I mean, I think this shit is really fucked up. I hope that it doesn't come to pass come March 5th. You know what I mean? That it doesn't actually get to go into effect, because I think it's fucked up. I think you can't do this kind of shit to people. We are supposed to have this kind of law to be able to say, hey, like, you can come here, and if you... And to say that Biden isn't doing anything, by the way, it's like, no, that motherfucker is. Like, he's trying to make it as hard as fuck for you to get here. You got to use this fucking shitty ass fucking app. You got to do it from the fucking city of Juarez. All this fucking crazy ass fucking shit. It's a whole goddamn mess. But no, that's not enough, of course, because people are still making it over. So it's like, no, we gotta lock them up. It's like, no, man. Like, I don't want to live in a country that does that kind of shit. It's so fucked up to me. But I've said this before, I'll say it again. When you pan out on this shit, it's so upsetting. It's so disturbing to see that, like, everyone handles their borders like this. Like, so many countries, I shouldn't say everybody, but, like, so many countries I've covered handle their borders like this, and it's so fucked up. It's such a fucked up thing to do. It's to say, oh, well, we've appealed to this, like, this group of people who are, like, uncomfortable and upset because they have to, to see more people who look different from them, and it's just like, oh, they're the reason I don't have things. I'm mad about it. They look so different. They don't speak my language. I don't like this. I'm mad. And they appeal to those people. There's so many politicians just worldwide, internationally, that do that kind of shit, and I hate that. I fucking hate it. So yeah, that's I guess where we'll leave it. Not that that's a good place to leave it, but that's the issues. That's Tales from the Abyss, baby. That's really all we have, though. Nice. Okay. So yeah, let me wrap up with the shill mode. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. If you'd like to support the effort, shout you out at the top of the pod, at the top of the month, maybe at the end of the pod, at the top of the month. We'll see. Say your name, plug a project. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. And then feel free to follow me or the podcast on all the socials you're on. And hopefully you're subscribed to the YouTube. That helps out a lot. Feel free to like, hit the bell, subscribe. Do that on any listening app that you're on. If it's not YouTube, that's fine. If it's on Spotify, that's sweet. I don't know if you can do that on Google Podcasts, but you can if you're listening to me right now. I don't know, whatever, But yeah, it means a lot. Helps out a lot. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.